Holidays mean time with the family. While most college students savor time at home, Ohio University's basketball team stays in Athens to finish their non-conference season before the start of MAC play. While they can't be at home, they're not far from family. From the instant an incoming freshman walks into the Convocation Center, he joins another family, his Bobcat basketball family. This family is now 4 years old. Through the seasons, it's seen its shares of ups and downs. New faces blended with the old. It's reached the highest of highs and shared in disappointments. What follows is his family's portrait of year 4, a year that tipped off with so many unknowns and great expectations, but could very well end with the Bobcats ready to dominate in winning time. Ohio basketball has a rich tradition. For over 100 seasons, the Bobcats have put winners on the floor, NBA lottery picks, Mid-American Conference titles, NCAA tournaments. In 2008, Ohio took the next step when John Gross took the reins as Ohio's 16th head coach.
I'd like to introduce the next head men's basketball coach at Ohio University, John Gross.
And I assure you, that we will put a basketball team on the floor that's going to play extremely hard, and they're going to play very unselfishly.
To recruit players who want to win, it helps to have a coach with the same mindset. It's hard to find anyone in college basketball with a more scalding desire to compete than him.
Tight! 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 Good, Rick! Good, DJ! Punch through it! Punch through it! Foul! Baby! DJ! That's the best I've seen you punch through, man!
Just an awesome guy. I never met nobody, that's such passionate, about what they do. He really loves the game.
I thought, he's going to be like a little angry sometimes and stuff like that, but I came to the conclusion that, Coach Gross is a good guy. I wouldn't play for any other coach besides him.
Battling through his first year in charge, Gross put together an outstanding recruiting class for the 2009-2010 season.
Obviously the 09 class is a special class, and DJ and Evo and Reggie have played in 90-plus games now. They've played in every game in their careers.
Inconsistent play in the league schedule earned the Bobcats just the 9 seed in the MAC tournament. In a remarkable 6-day span, the Cats ripped through the tourney. On title night, Saturday night, they earned a shot at MAC East rival Akron in Cleveland. A national TV audience saw one of the best MAC championship games ever. 40 minutes couldn't decide a winner, but Ohio took the lead in overtime and never looked back. Armand Bassett's game-ending slam sent the Cats back to the dance for the first time since 2005.
It was unreal. I really didn't know how to take it. Seeing that was my first experience at the college level. Really, I didn't know what to think of it. I was just taking it all in. It was a real fun experience. Now that I'm older, I look back on it and I appreciate it even that much more.
Our staff did a great job of just staying with it. I wish it was more complicated than that. If I had a magic wand and knew exactly what happened to do that year, to finish that way, I'd do it every year in February and March.
On Selection Sunday, the Bobcats gathered with hundreds of fans to discover who awaited in the NCAA tournament.
Number 3 seed Georgetown Hoyas out of the Big East. They'll take on the Bobcats of Ohio, and you guys are going dancing.
Just think about all the greats, that went to Georgetown. And then, didn't know what to think much. A little bit of nervous, a little bit excited. It's just mixed emotions. And then when you finally get out there, it's just like, let's do it.
Runs to the goal, alley-oop.
With the eyes of the nation upon them, the Bobcats gave Ohio University one of its proudest moments in school history.
Phenomenal job. We keep believing in one another. We keep believing in our system, and we're in great shape.
That day, the nation was witness to what the rest of the MAC already knew. Ohio's freshman point guard DJ Cooper was the real deal. Cooper scored 23 points and shot a blistering 66% from the floor. His leadership ability was evident as a freshman, and it's something he's continued to build throughout his career.
That's our general. The game is so much different when he's out and compared to when he's in.
Coming in and playing behind someone like that, the sky's the limit for me. I'm just sitting here learning my freshman year, not saying a word and just taking everything in. I view DJ as like my older brother on the court.
Well, DJ's one of the best point guards in the country. He's got as good a vision as anyone I've ever coached. Probably Mike Conley Jr., plays for the Grizzlies now, that I had a chance to coach as an assistant at Ohio State, would be kind of in that ballpark. But those two guys,
make players better, help Stevie, help him learn through some of the things I went through as a freshman. Try to make it easier for Nick to hit threes and Reggie and Evo to finish.
After making history, expectations for the 2010-11 Bobcat squad were high. Ohio started off MAC play slowly, but once again caught fire towards the end of conference play. Repeating a championship may be one of the most difficult tasks in sports. In the 2011 MAC tournament, Ohio went to the wire, but lost in a hard-fought battle with Ball State. Even without a trip to the big dance, the Bobcats earned an invitation to a postseason tournament, the CIT, where they beat regional rival Marshall in upset fashion. Some teams would have been satisfied with those results, but a season-ending loss at East Tennessee State didn't sit well with the hungry pack of cats.
I was very disappointed with our season. I felt like we had so much talent that year.
We kind of just gave that game away, and it just gave us more fuel to come back. In the off season, work harder, and to have a good season. Start off how we starting off now.
Ohio started practice with a purpose. It was insistent that the upcoming year would end on their terms. Without a single senior, the Bobcats knew every player would have to work harder than before to fulfill the squad's true potential.
Last year, I remember some days in practice where I really didn't want to be there, and I let it show. I didn't practice as hard as I possibly could. But this year, this approach I'm taking, everything counts. I got to go into practice every day and try to get better.
When the 2011-12 season tipped off, the Bobcats showed this year could be different. Ohio blitzed through the first 3 games with wins, then headed to Louisville to face the 7th-ranked Cardinals. In front of 21,000 plus, the Bobcats led for most of the game, up 6 with less than 3 minutes to play. But when the horn sounded, Ohio didn't pull the upset.
We don't prepare for any game to be close. We prepare to the best of our ability, mentally and physically, to win. And we didn't get it done. I was proud of the way we competed in that environment with 22,000 people in there. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, we had some things we could have controlled that could have got us over the top. Our players knew that.
We were disappointed at the end result. We're not into keeping it close. We're a basketball team, man. We're here to compete, I don't want to go into a game hoping I keep it close. I want to win everything I do.
I think it gave us confidence that we could compete at the highest level with the caliber teams that we could potentially face at the NCAA tournament if we, win our conference.
That confidence turned into a stack of consecutive wins. By late December, Ohio was 9-1 with a road test at Missouri Valley Power Northern Iowa on deck. Winning in Cedar Falls doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come often. When the final horn sounded, the Bobcats had handed the Panthers a 17-point defeat, the worst non-conference loss in McLeod Center history.
Terrific job. That's a good basketball team you guys beat right there. I'm telling you, they're going to win a lot of games. Okay, they're going to win a lot of games. All right? You now, congratulations. According to someone told me you were the only team, I think, in college basketball that's got 5 road wins on December 20th. Hell of a job.
Some nights you have your shooting going and won't have your defense going. Some nights you have your defense going, you have shooting going or whatever. So it's kind of hard to really click on all cylinders and that's what, if you can do that, usually you're going to win like that. And that's what happened that night.
Ohio kept winning to go 12-1, a record that equaled the best start in school history. The nation began to take notice. Voters in the AP poll pushed them up to 27th in the country. all signs pointed to a very special season.
It was really fun, actually. You know, all the media, all that stuff. It was real fun. We had a good time in the hotels. We were mainly on the road during that span, and it was just a good time to be with the guys and, you know, winning ball games. Everyone's going to be happy about that.
Winning makes everything easier. Losing could cause things to unravel a bit. With a record of 12-1, Ohio had one last non-conference game after New Year's to take care of before heading into MAC play.
Well, the Robert Morris game was an odd game because we forced 31 turnovers. And I've never, ever been a part of a game as an assistant coach or head coach where the opponent turns the ball over 31 times and you lose.
As the non-league season closed, Ohio's record was 12-2. The Cats' first MAC test meant a trip to the windswept plains of Northwest Ohio to battle the Bowling Green Falcons. Many coaches refer to the start of conference play as a second season. If the Bobcats are to reach their goals, a hot start in the MAC is an absolute must. The ball was tipped, and moments later, Ohio raced out to a quick 8-0 lead. But Bowling Green quickly erased the deficit. While Ohio fought the BG zone, the Falcons' shooters piled on the points. Despite a 13-point comeback to tie in the final minutes, Ohio couldn't finish. The second season started 0-1. The Cats were already down a game in the MAC. For the first time all season, Ohio had lost back-to-back games.
I would say, you know, that was very tough on us in the locker room. But we know all was not lost. That was our second loss of the season, and we lost to Bowling Green. That was our third loss of the season. We just feel like we didn't do enough little things in both of those games to come out with a W. And, you know, that's why we practice every day. You try to get 1% better, like Coach Gross says.
When Ohio returned home to the Convo to take on East Division foe Buffalo, it looked like the Cats may had already bounced back from the BG loss. Even when Ohio's offense sputtered, the defense suffocated the Bulls. The Bobcats held the league's highest-scoring team to 26 points below their average.
That night, we played like someone was holding our head underwater. And our defense was as good as it's been since I've been the coach here.
Well, heck of a job. Heck of a job. We just held the team that's leading the league in scoring at about 78 a game to about 50 points. That was unbelievable on the defensive end. Our defense is back. Hell of a job.
Now 1-1 in league play, Ohio made the trip up Interstate 77 to battle rival Akron. While Miami may be Ohio's traditional rival, the Ohio-Akron series has produced its share of fireworks over the past few years. Ohio led the majority of the contest, but late foul trouble and contested makes by the Zips dropped the Cats in the final minutes. After a blistering 12-1 start, dropping 3 of 4 games and beginning conference play at 1-2 wasn't in anyone's plans. Kent State and 4 straight games of the MAC's best arena were next. If Ohio had serious aspirations of winning a MAC title, the Bobcats had to find a way to win again immediately.
That whole time that was going on, we weren't playing the basketball we were used to playing. It didn't feel the same, you know. You could tell the difference. Just the big turnaround has just been everybody rededicating themselves to what we do and how we play Ohio basketball.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling, you know, because we got a different team, you know, than I've been here in my 3 years. You know, guys are more together, you know, it's not pointing fingers or nothing like that. So it was just more of a, you know, we're not trying to start off 1-4 how we've been, you know, in the past years, you know. So, you know, we just had to stick together, you know, had to, you know, fight out the whole, one game at a time.
When things aren't going exactly as planned, it never hurts to find a spark to get things back on track. Just ask Ohio football. When they earned their new black jerseys before their game versus Marshall, the Cats went on to crush the Thundering Herd 44-7. In the hours leading up to Ohio's January 18th game versus rival Kent State, the basketball Cats learned they too would be men in black.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Black jerseys. They're probably the nicest jersey I ever had.
Regardless of what color your jersey is, you still have to shoot and defend. And on that night, Ohio did both at a very high level. Holding a slim 1-point lead with seconds to go before halftime, Walt Offit drove to the basket for a layup to put the Cats up 3 at the break. At the team's return for half 2, it was all the Bobcats. When the dust settled, Ohio had beaten the preseason MAC favorites by 22 points.
Hell of a job, man! That's how you start a 4-game homestand right there. That's how you start a 4-game homestand. Great job. Great job. It's only a matter of time before our offense got going again. You defended your butts off. Started the second half, fellas. They had 38 at the half. They had 40 total points 9 minutes into the half. They scored 2 points. That is toughness. That's what we've been looking for.
In the history of Ohio basketball, there's arguably never been a more dominant player than Gary Trent. The only 3-time Player of the Year in MAC history, Trent dominated the league. He was the 11th pick in the 1995 NBA draft. 17 years after he left Athens, Trent returned to see his jersey hung in the rafters of the Convo during Ohio's contest versus Miami. Trent's playing days are over, but he had much to share with today's group of Cats.
What are you showing up here for if you're not going to compete? What are you showing up here for if you don't want to win? If I was to go out here and one of my teammates was not here to win, when I came in this locker room, I'm going to tell you about it because that's all I had. So when I come out here, if you're not going to die with me on this basketball court, and I mean die with me on this court, I don't want to play with you.
The thing I'm most proud about Gary is coming to Ohio University and now where he's at now at around age 40, his transformation as a person. And Ohio University had a lot to do with that. Gary would tell you that.
Rivalry games are intense, and it doesn't get much more intense than Ohio versus Miami. The passion on the court spills over into the stands, and Ohio's fan base takes special pride in filling the Convo for any Miami contest. This one would be no different. While Southern Ohio was coated in a 1/4 inch of ice, fans statewide braved it to reach Richland Avenue to pack the Convo. When all were counted, more than 13,000 Bobcat fans, only 1,000 fewer than all other MAC games that day combined, witnessed the 188th edition of the Battle of the Bricks. Cooper in between the circles for Ohio. Alley-oop, Baltic catches and slams it down. Miami shot its way to an early lead, and no matter what they tried, the green and white couldn't stop the visitors beyond the 3-point arc. At halftime, the Red Hawks held a 37-31 advantage. While in the locker room, the players missed what so many fans had waited nearly 20 years to see. Gary Trent honored as the most dominant player in MAC history. His number 20 jersey hung next to Bobcat greats Jamerson, Luckett, and Baumholz.
I don't think you guys understand the feeling that's in my stomach right now. This is so beautiful. It's one of the greatest accomplishments ever in my life. You guys just don't know what this means to me. And now, Ozone, we need to finish kicking Miami.
Ohio still struggled to find its rhythm after the break, but persistent defense kept them within striking distance. With 52 seconds left to play and the Bobcats down by 1, Walt Offit made a critical steal and a layup to give Ohio the lead at winning time. That sequence helped propel the Cats to another win over the Red Hawks. And the students run onto the floor below us and jump around just to the right of center.
Okay, we hung in there. Life's not easy sometimes. Basketball's not easy. But you fought, and you found a way. That's what good teams do. That's what good teams do.
Nice spin moves out there. Appreciate it, man. Keep grinding.
How did Ohio get the win over Miami? Simple. Toughness. Ohio now can win games that aren't track meets. Perhaps nobody on Ohio's team epitomizes that toughness more than Walt Offit. His steal late in that game is only one example of how hard number 3 plays at both ends.
Wolf. I call him a wolf. You know, Walt's, he's a wolf. You know, he brings it every day. If you're not bringing it, he's going to let you know.
Toughness. And Walt's tough as soon as he steps on the court and as soon as he gets off. locker room talks, man, you can't argue with Walt. You know, he'll try to win everything, and you know, that's why I really like that guy and glad he's a part of this team.
I mean, the way he launches himself at the rim and get and-ones and finish hard plays around the basket, you can really appreciate that and how hard he goes.
John Gross recruited the highly touted Offit to Ohio State just before moving to Athens. Offit transferred first to Wright State and finally to Ohio. Due to NCAA transfer rules, Walt had to sit out the 2010-11 season. A slow torture for someone driven by an internal desire to compete.
It was very hard sitting out, but I think it's all worth it. You know, when I look back on it, I got better. I think I got my conditioning better. I think my shot really improved in the last couple of years. You know, and I really developed a good work ethic. You know, and I really learned a lot. You can learn a lot from sitting out.
After the Miami win, Ohio found consistency. With the first round of the MAC East finished, a swing through the MAC West laid ahead. An East team has won every MAC title since 2004. But Ohio has stumbled out West in recent years, something of which this year's group is very aware.
Oh, we're taking them even more serious if we don't take them East. You know, that's one of the things we lacked in our last 2 years. You know, so we just have to take them, you know, take them even more serious, turn it up.
After running roughshod of the first few MAC West opponents, Ohio made clear the previous shortcomings were buried in the... After 23 games, Ohio basketball has 19 wins and 4 losses. Enough to whet the team's appetite for a postseason to remember, but not enough to rest on these accomplishments. There is little margin for error for a MAC squad to make the NCAA tournament. 8 games remain before the tournament clash in Cleveland. 8 chances to hold the green and white above the rest. 8 opportunities to pull this family even closer, to see if they are all in.